Hello, I'm Richard with EV4U Custom Conversions. And today we're going to talk a little bit about bottom balancing. We have a fair amount of questions regarding bottom balancing and battery management systems, so forth. I'm not a fan of battery management. I'm a big fan of battery monitoring. But the starting point is having all of your cells at a common reference point. And we want that reference point being at the low end, so that if you take your pack down to the edge of no return, that all the cells get there together. And you don't have one that's a little bit less than the others and it falls over the edge first. That will cause a problem. And I'm not going to go into all that today. Today we're going to focus on bottom balancing. We have another episode where we talked about bottom balancing and we went into the reasons why you want to do that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to give you some insights in how we actually do the bottom balancing, not why. And so, show you kind of a setup I put together for this purpose. This is not our normal bottom balancing setup, which is over at our main shop. But this is one that we use like times like right now when we have a lot going on and we have a lot of cells that we're bottom balancing. And so they're busy over at the shop and we're busy here in our other area here, our staging area. And this is where we have cars that are getting quick work done on them, or they're either being stored for whatever reason. So this is our staging area. It's also the area where we do some of our workshops. And we have this display board, which we've showed in a previous video. And I'm using the display board wiring to do part of the bottom balancing procedure. And that is we want to take the cells from their shipped voltage and shipped capacity, or not capacity, but state of charge, down to a more manageable state. And what we do is we use a load, and in this case I was using something that was laying around in the inventory area, and that's some headlights. So I'm using the headlights as a load, and I'll give you a close-up of all that right now. Well, here's a close-up view of our display board. Basically what we're doing, looks like a mess. It's what we use for teaching people and showing them how the basic wiring goes for a conversion. And I've kind of torn some of it apart in order to do what I wanted to do today. And that is, I'm running 12 volts through our display board. And so the 12 volts is coming in here, going to this main contactor. It'll go through the main contactor, over here to this fuse block, through the fuses, and to these individual headlamps. There's also power that's going to some of these other relays, so that when I turn on that switch, things are energized. I flip this switch and it closes the main contactor, illuminating 4 headlamps, 3 of which are pointing this direction. A little bit of heat being generated over there. And all that's being driven by this battery right here. This is 4 100 ampere hour GBS cells, and they come in a 4-pack like this, pre-wired. The interconnects are already in place. we simply have hooked up to that. And so we're discharging the 4 of these together, and we'll take them down to 12 volts or just below. So that's our initial discharge of the pack. So here's a new pack. Let's turn these lights off for right now. Here's a new pack that has not been discharged yet. This is how it comes from the factory. And so we'll show you the voltage. So let me stand that up. Let me get my hand out of the way here. So it's at 13.37 volts as received. And we'll take it down to 12 or just below using the headlamp setup. Once we've accomplished that, then we take it over here to drop it all the way down. And here's where we're going to use the Cell Pro Power Lab 8. And what we've done is we're using a 12 volt battery back here behind these GVS cells. This is a 12 volt battery. We're using that to power the Cell Pro, the Power Lab 8. You can power it with a power supply or a battery. It's just an old battery we have laying around. And so then I'm going to individually discharge these 4 cells. We brought them down together, and we dropped them down to right around 3 volts or a little bit less than 3 volts each. And from there we're going to drop it down to 2.5 volts using the Power Lab. And what's nice about this is I can program it to do that. And so it's already done this cell. It's taken this one down to the 2.5, and then it will rest overnight, and then we'll bring it down again. It currently is at 2.91. So you can see it'll bounce back up. We'll draw it down until we get this thing to have an at-rest voltage after it sits a half hour or more. Typically a lot longer than that because we do them in groups. When we've got them where they're all at rest at 2.75 volts, we're going to call it good. At that point, we'll put them in the vehicle, wire them up in series, and bring them up as a pack. They'll be charged together. So they'll all have the same amount of well, not capacity, but same amount of charge. Each cell may have a slightly different capacity from the factory, and that's why we don't want to balance them at the top. We want to have them at the same, same capacity at the bottom and bring them up together. That way they may not all be to maximum capacity, but when they're discharged they'll all go down together as a pack, and when they get down to that edge they'll all be there together, and I don't have to worry about one taking a dive and then pulling others with it. So this is really handy. Like I said, we took this down to just right around 3 volts, a little bit less, hooked it up to the Power Lab here, had it discharge at a 30 amp rate, and it did this in 8 minutes and 15 seconds, and then it shuts off. So that's what's nice. We let the headlamp set up over here bring it down. It'll take a couple hours or more to bring these down, and we can just let that sit there and do its thing, not worry about it, come check on it occasionally. And then when we get close, where we want to bring it down but we don't want to go beyond that 2.5 volts, that's where the power lab comes in, because it will do that and shut off automatically. And I can actually do it to where it will cycle and do that. But we're going to let this thing rest, and we'll go on to another cell. And so let me disconnect this. And we'll disconnect this and move it to the next cell. And these wires will get warm discharging at that 30 amp rate. I think I would change this one of these days. We got a couple of these. This one just happens to be set up for these GPS cells. We also have them set up for the CALB cells. This has just a smaller terminal on it to accommodate these little screws that GBS uses. So, positive to positive, negative to negative. Snug it down. Hook up the battery to my power lab. Let it come on. This battery here, or this cell, is starting off at, again, it was below 3 volts. And then of course it has sat here for a while, and it's come back up to 3.13. So now we're going to take it down to the 2.5. We're going to do it on a regenerative discharge, which means it's going to take current out of this one and that one's not tightening down. There we go. And put it into here. And we've set parameters of what can go into the our lead acid 12 volt. So it's checking right now. Confirm that what we have, and away it goes. And so it will discharge this down to 2.5 volts. Its little fans are coming on now because it's dissipating. This battery's getting full, so it's dissipating some of that energy. And so it has to cool itself. And so our cell will drop over time. 2.64. 632. So at 30 amps, it'll take it down there. And we'll run through these probably 3 times to get them to where they have an at-rest voltage of 2.75 volts. I don't know if you can see the display there. But anyway, it does it automatically. Nice little gadget to have. We've had these for a couple years now, and work real well. So that's the process. It's really very easy. We could do them individually, but like I said, we typically take them in 4 packs because 4 of these cells is about 13 volts. And so we use the headlights, automotive headlights, as a load. We've used motors and other things as a load also. You could use a big resistor, whatever you want to use. We just happen to use the headlights at this location because we happen to have them here handy, and didn't cost me anything. And so we're able to do this simultaneously. We're taking and discharging this other cell, or group of 4 cells, being discharged. Not at the moment because the lights will kind of blind the camera. And at the same time, we're doing the next phase of this first group of 4 that was already done, down to the under 12 volts. Now it's been taken down to the 2.5. See what it's doing right now. 2.576. So it's getting there. When it gets there, this thing will beep at us and then shut off. And then we simply move them over to the next cell and do it again. And we'll let it sit overnight, and we'll do another group of 4. And so it'll take a few days to do a pack of 44 cells. We typically work with packs from 36 to 52 cells. That's what we deal with most commonly. And like I said, it's about a 3-day operation. It's not continuous. We don't have to have someone here the whole time babysitting things. But this phase, you know, like I said, it's got a timer on there. The last cell took 8 minutes. And so we know that, you know, we'll be working on something else. We hear the thing beep, we come over and switch over to the next cell. So it's no more involved or complicated than that. It's no, you know, no smoke and mirrors, nothing mysterious about it. It's straightforward, simple. But in doing this, you will have a pack that is balanced and reliable. And then if you set up your conversion so that it shuts down and you never get a cell voltage below 2.8 volts, you'll never have a problem. It's when people take them down lower than that that you have a problem. And that can all happen real fast. Once you get below 2.8 volts and you've got a load on these things, you can get yourself into trouble. And my advice is always, it's better to pull over and call a tow truck than it is to sacrifice, you know, a $7,000 or greater lithium battery pack. So all of my vehicles have towing insurance on them, so it's no big deal. I can have it towed, you know, every day for that matter, no biggie. I haven't ever had one towed because, you know, we have instrumentation in the vehicle. I've got a GPS. I know where I'm going. I know what my normal consumption is. There's no reason to ever deplete a pack. And out of the 80 amp hours that I have in my Karmann Ghia, the most I've ever used was in the low 70s. I do use between 50 and 60, you know, on occasion, not every day. Typically, I use 40 to 50 on any given day. And so the pack was sized for my routine, and it was sized with margin so that I'm not taxing the pack. And that's what we recommend that you do. And that's why we've got videos that explain how to calculate the capacity, how to size your pack for the vehicle and so forth. So anyway, this has been a little insight to bottom balancing. If you have any questions, please email us at info@evforyounow.com. And if you want to learn more, there it is. That's another one done. 6 minutes, 57 seconds. So it didn't take as long as this one. So we'll see what the next one does. Well, as soon as that load drops off, they come up pretty quick this first time. And so we'll let them rest, and then we'll run them again. And the objective is to get them to have an at-rest voltage of 2.75 volts. And this one that we just did earlier, before we went on camera, it looks like it's stabilizing at 2.93. And so it will need the treatment probably a couple more times to get it to where at rest, after it's had the load removed for at least a half an hour or more, that it's going to have an at-rest voltage of 2.75 volts. Then they'll be installed in the vehicle, wired in series, and brought up together. And we charge them, that's something I didn't mention, we'll charge these to 3.5 volts. So this is going in a 44 cell pack. I believe that's 153 volts. Let me use my calculator here. So 3.5 times 44, 154 volts. So we'll charge it to 154 volts and call it good. And this pack, you know, the one in the Karmann Ghia is identical to this. It's 44 of the GBS 100 ampere hour cells, getting close to 12,000 miles on it. I drive it every day. I've driven it hard. It's been on the racetrack. It'll be at Laguna Seca on June 30th. And these little cells just do what they are desired to do. And then for those bigger jobs, heavier vehicle, greater range requirement, we showed you these in a recent video. These are the CALB 180 amp hour battery or cell. Show you the two side by side. This is a 100 amp GBS, 180 amp CALB. So, I mean, almost the same thickness. You can see difference in width and height. This is 12.5 pounds, if I remember correctly, and this is just over 7.1, or not even that, I don't think. Just 7 pounds. I think 4 of these. Well, this might be just under 7 pounds. I think with the strapping, the way these things come with your little containment setup here, aluminum side plates all strapped together, it's 28.2 pounds for 4 of them. So just under, you know, the cell by itself would be just less than 7 pounds. So if you want to learn more, we have the video series on YouTube. But if you want more in-depth information on the entire conversion process, you can purchase our How to Convert from Gas to Electric, the complete video. It's sold on our website. We also offer the 3-day hands-on conversion workshops. We offer 4 of them this year: May, June, July, and August. This is May 3rd, so I think we still have 1 slot left for May. We keep them real small so that they're very one-on-one type of setup. Everybody has a chance to get all their questions answered, as well as everybody has a chance to get their hands dirty too. So we pile a lot in. It's supposed to be 3 8-hour days. I've yet to have a group that let me get away with 8 hours. Some of these groups just don't want to leave at the end of the day, and I end up putting in a 10, 12-hour day. But that's what it's all about. We want you to get comfortable so that when you go home, you can clear a spot in your garage and do your own. And it's not that difficult. The beauty of the workshop is it will give you an understanding of all the individual components as well as the big picture, so that you will have that big picture understanding of what is required to convert your car from gas to electric. And it makes it a comfortable and simple process when you have that big picture understanding and that familiarity with all the components involved. And that's what the video and what the workshops specifically are all about. And that's what EV for You Custom Conversions is all about. Our desire is to put you behind the wheel of an electric vehicle. And so we do these videos, and everything else that we do is all geared around that one single goal. I want you to be driving that daily commute or whatever you do daily behind the wheel of a car. Do it in an electric car. Believe me, you'll thank me. I have a lot of vehicles, gas, electric, diesel, and I enjoy driving the old 1974 Karmann Ghia more than all the others. It's just a hoot to drive. It's fun, and it's, almost no maintenance. Literally, in the length of time I've had it, other than inspecting the brushes, there hasn't been any maintenance. It's just been turn the key and go. And that's part of the beauty of it. So anyway, until next time, thank you for watching.